Morning, Suzanne.
Good morning, Deborah, LeeAnn.
I am trepidatious about beginning this gene key because it is my life's work. And it feels personal, yet profound and right there in front of all of us at this moment. I don't know if that's just me making it bigger than it is, but so would you like to introduce Gene Key 10?
So, Gene Key 10, we're talking about the energy of the week, and this is written by Richard Rudd, and it is moving from self obsession, that's the shadow, to the gift of naturalness. And the acidic state, or the highest essence of this consciousness, is being.
Mm.
So, it's, it just feels natural. But we make things so hard. um,
Yeah, we do. Uh, can we? I mean, like, I want to play with this a little bit because it's not naturalness as the gift is not the opposite. I mean, the shadow is not the opposite unnatural because that's doing a disservice to really understanding how we as humans play in the world of um, this this self-obsession thing where it's all about like, am I getting enough done? What are they going to think? Am I doing it right? There's this constant um, story and noise in our heads, but it's not just here. It's coming at us from all of media. Well, this is the way to do things, or this is the
right,
way you should dress, or this is what you should be doing today,
right,
or according to the calendar, this is and you're just like, so we get stuck in that.
right. Well, I think that that's the difference between listening to your heart and listening to everything else, too.
Well, and I've been reading a lot about Eastern philosophy, and our heart is still a part of our mind. Our
Mhm.
heart still has intelligence. If we're talking about listening to our emotions, I don't want to play there because I think it's deeper than our emotions because they can really be hijacked by self obsession. Oh, I feel this. Oh, I'm
Right,
so sad
right,
about
right.
that. I'm so angry. And you're like, wait a minute, that's not, it might be natural, but when it's working against us being true to ourselves, is that when it's unnatural? I'm
Mm.
playing with you here.
So, um, I'm just going to briefly mention the repressive nature, which is all about self-denying. So those you can see that shadow play out when people acquiesce all their energy in service, not service, just for everybody else. When you just basically live your life for everybody else instead of
Okay. Yeah.
it's
And you're so worried about other people's feelings, other people's, I
right.
need to do Christmas for my kids, for my family. It's not about, am I doing this for me?
Okay. Perfect example. My mom, the things that she didn't do in her life, she like really pushed me to go and do. Like she lived her life through me
Oh,
instead of she self-denied her own part of her own journey, just saying, "Well, she'll do it." You know, give it away. And it's a little bit a slight tad of martyrdom kind of energy
yeah.
too.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Um, so it didn't necessarily serve in that regard her her space for evolution. However, in the other avenue, the reactionary, it's very narcissistic. So when people talk a lot about narcissists, that's when people can't yield any part of themselves to anyone else. They're thinking all about themselves, and it's more out of like an anger kind of like, because you are going to rid me of my freedom. So it's a lashing out self obsession kind of thing of this is mine, this, my space.
And we know people like that because they almost take all the oxygen in the room when
Mhm.
you're in a space with them. Okay, got it.
Okay.
So naturalness, or did you want to add some more to the shadow piece?
Nope, that's good.
So I, I think about animals, and they don't have a like, oh, I didn't jump high enough to get onto that shelf, so I'll just try again, like a cat, right? Um, they don't get weird about, oh, that makes me wrong, or I'm not athletic enough, or I need to work out more, or
Right, right.
all of those things that we do. And I thought about, so this is where I woke up this morning. I went to sleep listening to the audio transmission in the 64 Ways by Richard. Thank you very much, Richard Rudd, for doing those. And and he even says, in naturalness, it means how I contemplate this gene key today. You ask me tomorrow, I will give you completely different information because that's how wisdom is.
Yeah.
It's not the same all the time. And I woke up this morning and the poem by Mary Oliver called Wild Geese came to play. And I just want to run through this because it's so fascinating. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. And I'll put the whole thing in the below the video here, but I just want you to know that that's what I thought. The whole animal of my being to love what it loves. Wow, if we lived like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take it away, Suzanne. I
Oh,
think
yeah. Well, it's for me, when I think about it, it's that need for acceptance, loving, joyfulness, and being able to recognize that we get to just play. It's a play. And, you may choose a different role. Like last night, I attended a Roaring Twenties thing. I played a role, kind of decided to personify or be in a different costume. And I think that that's part of it. Like, it's not ever the same. Like we can choose whatever we want to do, whether it's a career or um it's not a mask. It's just a choosing of what energy you want to
be. And it
be.
actually that costume opened up more of you, a different side of you, a different facet of you,
Right.
because you sent me photos and I saw them. Um,
Yeah.
and you looked very natural in
Yeah.
that role or in that
Right.
costume because it just lit you up in a different way. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like we can put different light bulbs in our lamps and they
Exactly.
shine a different color or a different way on our skin. So anyway, and you were gorgeous, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Um, so that naturalness of who you are, shows through. But when we wear the mask and completely step out of that or step into a role, but I'm even thinking of actors. They can be themselves and still play a role because that is their gift that
Right.
they're sharing with the world. So how do we transcend this into being? Because it feels like, and I know the chapter is called Divine Laziness, which drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. It's like not about doing, it's about what was the Wu Wei,
Right.
the art of doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that's goes again. I mean, after all my years of studying of what am I here to do, and I get told, oh, by the way, your life's work, do nothing. And
Well, I do want to read this quote before we move on to being. He says, "There's a great beauty to be discovered here, and when you find it, you'll finally realize that naturalness is the simplest thing of all. It is simply there, inside you, the moment you decide to stop arguing with life like I gotta be, I gotta do something. I gotta
You're
be
making me do that? Well, then I'll do this. Yeah, I know it's when we
right, right. Instead of just flowing, the easy is right button is right there.
and I laugh because so many people, I love the countries where they just are with being with, right? Their weather. They don't care if it's sleeting, if it's snowing, if there's 10 inches, if there's 2 inches. They don't care what the temperature is. They probably don't listen to the weather as compulsively as we do. And you just put the right coat on and you go for a walk no matter what. And
There
I
is no
think
bad weather,
there
just
is no
bad
bad,
preparation.
right. It's the wrong clothes. Like my Swedish friends say, sometimes you just have the wrong clothes. So where we go is we're constantly complaining about, well, this and the traffic and the data. And I'm like, ew.
Yeah, it kind of sucks a lot of energy.
Yeah, like certain narcissistic people can. We complain about that too, but I'm like, it's the same thing. We're doing it to ourselves.
Right.
So especially because this key always shows up in December because it's part of the Sagittarius star thing, sun sign. I'm curious, how can we play our way through a very intensely busy time, such as the holiday season? Like, where's there room for being?
Allowing, accepting, embracing the now of what is.
Which is the shortcut to transcend any shadows, allow, accept, embrace.
Because being is pure consciousness coming into form. And it's not, as Richard said, tomorrow I might, even if Deborah and I like decided to re-record this tomorrow, it would come out completely different.
Yeah.
So this is your originality of who you are is coming into form, and allow it to be expressed, not mimic somebody else that's their path. You're here to you your path,
Yeah.
and allowing that divine spark that's within you to come out naturally. That's the gift.
And then you can't get there when you're so busy.
Right.
You need I think this is the thing that I hear over and over again is making space. We used to talk about 10 years ago, it was all about making space for self-care. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like in that self-care, we need to make space to do nothing.
Yes. Well, and there's no agenda, there's no direction. It simply is. And a lot of people don't live life like that. One of the last sentence in this chapter is this: it's to rest unattached in the supreme state of being, whilst at the same time participating in the adventure of our evolution. It is quite possibly the greatest task that the humans of the future will have to master. To recognize that life is actually the adventure, but again, there's no attachment to the outcome. And I think that once we have expectations, it kind of like staunches. And this key is what's beautiful about it is that when you're in that beingness and you actually can feel it, it's lighter. It's not serious. Like I gotta figure it out. Like
Yeah.
it's
And
living life
I love how
adventurously.
yeah, and he says that the more spiritual and more conscious we get, somehow we become more serious. And how do we get back into that playful, there is room for complete, doing things for no reason. And like the other day I was singing a Christmas song actually, and I was dancing and doing energy weave, like light weaving with my hands. And I was like, oh, that's fascinating. So, and I thought as a kid, I did stuff like that all the time. And it was like, stop, stand still, don't, and now I'm like, I can do whatever I want.
That's right.
So, so I want to share the mudra before we
Okay.
close, which I find fascinating. So you can take your hands, it doesn't matter right over left or left over right, but you want to have them wrapped around each other, kind of like when we'd be shaking hands with another,
Hmm.
which is interesting because you'll hear the meaning behind that in a second. And if you feel your palms together, you can feel that there's a little tiny space in between your palms, and that is called the treasure. And so that treasure is our is the treasure of being. And isn't it fascinating to think in our culture, we used to before before COVID, a little bit more now, shake hands with people and we would share our treasure with another.
Oh,
Isn't that beautiful?
that's really
So I
beautiful.
know we hug now and we do heart to heart hugs and all of that, but I'm wondering about bringing this somehow back into uh, the rhythm of
Yeah.
connecting with people.
Sharing your treasure. Yeah. That's beautiful.
So just allow yourself to spend some time and breathing into your own treasure. You know, if you're sitting in line or at the grocery store, at a stoplight, you can take your hands off the steering wheel for a minute and just pause. So,
Beautiful. Enjoy being.
yeah, more of us need to be being in this time so that now there's no shoulds. But how can we be to be models for others so that it becomes more of a contagion rippling out? Ah,
Till next time.